In this episode of JRPTeaTime, we're going to be talking about the current state of the PlayStation Vita, the two extremes of the argument, and why successor may be difficult. And the tea is back. Welcome everybody to JRPTeaTime. Now the title, what do I mean by this? The PlayStation Vita is neither dead nor alive. And we will get to that, but first we will make some tea, and I'm actually going to be doing a blend today, and unfortunately the green screen is going to really ruin this. You won't be able to see this, but I will put links or at least the names in the description. But we're going to do a mix of apple crumble and Sencha mango. Now, apple crumble is what we call a fruit tisane, and that just means that it has no actual tea leaves in it. So any kind of herbal tea or fruit tea is technically a tisane. And I'm blending it with Sencha mango, which is green tea with some little bits of mango in it. So this is proper tea. It's just going to have a nice little apple flavor, apple and sort of like cinnamony flavor on top of the mango and the green tea. So let's do that. Alright, so the tea is brewing. Now let's get into the PlayStation Vita talk. Straight up, let's just say that I love the PlayStation Vita. It has had some tremendous games on it, and it is what, despite some people will think, it is a tremendous success, especially in Japan. And that's where this starts, really. The PlayStation Vita is not a failure. It's not exactly a massive commercial success in that it is absolutely nothing compared to Nintendo's handheld division, the 3DS line or the DS line. But it does sell quite well in Japan even to this day, and it does have massive Japanese developer support. So that's the alive part. But the dead part is that it has basically been given up on by Sony. And it is an aging console now, and it is much harder to develop for than what is currently on the market. And namely, what I'm talking about is the Switch. So, is it dead? No. Do I want it to be dead? No, not really. But the thing is, it is going to die, and it's not going to be that long. At least I don't think so. Why continue making games on a console that has 256 megabytes of RAM, which must be tremendously difficult to develop for, when you could develop for the Nintendo Switch, which will soon have a larger install base in Japan than the PlayStation Vita? And that's why it is neither dead nor alive. Now, I follow a lot of people who are very big fans of the PlayStation Vita on Twitter, and I don't want to criticize them at all. As I said, I love the Vita, and I follow them because I enjoy the stuff they post, and I enjoy all the PlayStation Vita announcements, I enjoy all that stuff. But they do live in a bit of a bubble, in that they think it... I don't know, I don't think that they think it is going to die anytime soon. We're talking about a console that is quite old now and would probably be retired shortly, regardless of whether or not it was a really big seller or a really poor seller or somewhere in the middle, which is where it's at the moment. And the other side of the argument is that it is completely dead, it doesn't get any new games anymore, which is just not true. It gets a lot of new games. Last year, the PlayStation Vita had more exclusives than the Xbox One. I mean, it's not difficult to get past because pretty much everything has more exclusives than the Xbox One, but we're talking about a handheld console that many think is failed and already dead. It is definitely not already dead, but the people who think it is the healthiest platform out there are maybe a little bit naive. It's not going to last that much longer. And is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Why wouldn't you want these experiences on the Nintendo Switch, which is just pretty much better in every single way, apart from maybe... I mean, the PlayStation Vita doesn't have stellar battery life to begin with. So we're only talking about a mild increase in battery life for a smaller screen, a worse screen, much less performance, less versatility. It just doesn't make sense to want to keep the Japanese developers away from a platform that is going to greatly benefit from their development, from their content. I know that I would rather be playing my stuff on the Switch than the Vita. If there's a Vita exclusive out at the moment, I would definitely rather be playing that on my Nintendo Switch than I would on my PlayStation Vita, just because I think the Switch is a better console, which it is. And herein lies the problem with a possible successor. See, and hold that thought, it's tea time. Now, I don't think the color of this is showing up quite well because of the green screen, but it is a kind of not very attractive tea yellow. But it does smell like apple and mango, so we will try that shortly. Now, as I was saying about the problem of a successor, the problem is if Sony make a new dedicated handheld platform, it's just not going to be as powerful as the Switch, and it's not going to have the versatility of the Switch. And yes, the 3DS is selling at the moment, and it is a very popular console, and Nintendo continue to support it, but I don't think that support is going to last the next, 5, 6, 7 years, or 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I think the 3DS will be pretty much done by 2019, because they're going to focus on the platform that shows the most promise, which is the Switch at the moment. So if Sony make a new handheld, what is the incentive? What is the reason for people to buy that one over something like a Nintendo Switch, which is more powerful and more versatile? And then on the flip side, if Sony do make a hybrid type console to combat the Switch, to sort of go head to head with it, then I'm sure we feel that they're cutting into their own home console market, because that's the way the Switch is marketed, as both. So if Sony make a direct competitor, they're also selling a home and portable console hybrid and a dedicated home console. And their dedicated home console platform is the most popular by far at the moment. So it doesn't make sense for them to cut into their own console market. And that's the problem. Sony's sort of stuck in the position of they're not going to continue to support. I mean, they already don't support the PlayStation Vita. That is purely supported by the amazing Japanese developer crowd and the indie crowd, which is worldwide. The indies are making tremendous stuff to PlayStation Vita. Sony can't really make a new one. I can't see them making a successor because I can't see it being... I can't see how they would market it. I mean, if you guys have some thoughts of how Sony would market a new handheld, I'm all ears. I have been thinking about this for quite a long time, and that's what I come down to. I think, what could they make, and how could they market it against something like the Nintendo Switch, which has sort of thrown a spanner in the works of portable consoles in general, including their own 3DS. Now, I don't want the PlayStation Vita to die tomorrow, as I say, but I would really like to see those Japanese developers that have been sticking with the PlayStation Vita at least bring their exclusives to the Switch as well and eventually migrate over, because it is just a better platform. And I think the PlayStation Vita will probably last another couple more years. They're still getting really good releases, they're still getting really good games, but I would be happy to see it phased out over the next couple of years, and I can't see any reason why anybody would not want that to be the case. If the PlayStation Vita went away and that meant that all of the games those Japanese developers working on went away as well, then I would say PlayStation Vita, live forever, please, because you are making some amazing games. But there are alternate platforms now that can do stuff better than the PlayStation Vita in every way. Why can't we move that development crowd over to the new platform and everybody can be happy? Apart from people who maybe can't afford a Nintendo Switch. But, we've got plenty of time for that. As I say, the next couple of years, that's where I see it. heading for, and I really do not see a successor coming from Sony. They're having way too much success with the PlayStation 4 platform at the moment. I don't see them bringing out a handheld to go up against both the 3DS juggernaut at the moment for at least the next couple of years and the Switch market, because I don't see how they could possibly make something that would appeal to people who don't want a Switch or a 3DS. And that's it from me today, guys. I'm going to try this tea. It might be a little bit hot and I might burn myself. Let's hope not. It is hot, but it is delicious. That blend again was Apple Crumble and Sencha Mango, which is a green tea with mango. That was from T2, which are now worldwide. It started here in Australia, and they're not a sponsor. I wish they were. I have been asking. But I just love their products, love their teas, everything else. Anyway, that's it for me on the PlayStation Vita. Let me know what you think. As I say, this isn't really out of hate or anything like that, and I don't want it to die tomorrow, but no, I do want to see it phased out, and I do want to see that development crowd move to the much better Nintendo Switch. Let me know if you think Sony could make a successor, and any of your other general thoughts. And as always, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to see more of me and everything I do. I apologize for the delay on this video, but content is going to keep coming, I promise. And other than that, guys, I'll see you all soon.